One day I woke up and realized I'm going to have to live solely in the realm of trust. And it wasn't even a decision. I was at a dead end. I had no more options. And even right now, I'm still in the exact same place externally. But what is internal has completely changed. Because there became no more 70-30. There became no more 90-10, no more 99%, 1% even. I went all in on God. And I had to, because I was at a dead end. And don't get me wrong, I always speak about God. I've talked about God. God has been in my life. I love God, and I say that I love God. But he's often been like somebody down the block. A being that I'm keeping at arm's length distance. And there is a massive difference between even that final 1%, giving God everything, compared to 99%. Because I get on here and I talk about the Bible. The Bible is words on a page, but it's pointing to a relationship, a very specific relationship. It says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son." He gave his Son. He gave me everything. And if he gave me everything, he's expecting that same thing in return. And I've been apprehensive to walking that sort of path because of reasons that I'll talk about here. But now I realize that it's actually the thing that I wanted. It's not even just the thing that I need. Yes, it's certainly the thing that I need. It's a blinding light of freedom that extinguishes the darkness. But it's even the thing that I want. And we're all meant to walk a path in this life. There is a definitive path that I'm meant to walk, and my path is going to look different than your path. Both of the paths that we're meant to walk are the way. But on my path, I've always retracted. I've always begun to walk down the path and then retreated, withdrawn from the path. And I can see now very clearly why I've done that. And this has been the hardest thing for me to accept. But it is the acceptance of this which has freed me, which is that this world is going to hate me. No matter what I do, this world is going to hate me. And the world is going to hate you too, the more that you try to do less of the wrong thing, more of the right thing. The more you try to walk the path that you're meant to walk in this world, it's like something intertwined with the fabric of reality. There is no blame of any one person or even people. It also reaches a point where I'm beyond the blame of people. But it has to be accepted that if you try to walk your path, if you try to do the right thing, you're going to be hated. I'm going to be hated. Everything that I build is going to collapse. There's going to be derision. There's going to be things that I gain, and I use those things for proper dominion and serve God. And even if I use them for proper stewardship or don't, the world is going to take them. And so the world is going to hate me. And if you need clarity of this, if you need to see how this is so clearly the case, look at the story of Job. The story of Job is so fascinating because at one level it paints the picture of reality. It tells you the nature of what this world is. But it's this amazing story that somehow says more about the reader than it does about any of the characters. This story is like a mirror that is held up to the one who is reading it. And if you reflect, it shows you who you are and what you're truly about. Because in the story of Job, Job has everything. Job has a wife. Job has children. Job has a successful farm with animals. Job is thriving, and Job loves God, and Job praises God all of the time. And then one day, Satan tells God that Job's life is easy. The only reason why Job loves you and worships you and praises you is because of everything that you do for him, is because of everything that you've given him. He's got a great, easy, thriving life, and because he's got this great life, anybody in his circumstances would do the same thing. Anybody that has everything would love you like Job loves you. And so God says, not so. That's not so. And so God allows Satan to tempt Job to the extent that Satan takes everything away from Job. Job's wife dies, Job's children dies, all of Job's farm animals die. His farm is taken from him. And so everything that he has is lost. And he laments and he questions God. He says, why is this happening? There's a deer. But the one thing Job never does is cease in his love. Job never ceases in his love. Even in his lamentation, he still keeps all of his trust, all of his faith in God. And the reason why this is a mirror for the reader is because listen to the way people react to this story. This is the most controversial story in the Bible because people read this and you can see that in this world, the most downtrodden people whose love will not cease become lightning rods for hatred, become lightning rods for derision. The more that you align with God, the more you walk the right path, and the more downtrodden you are as well, the better that you suffer. If you're suffering well, the world will hate you. And people read this story and look at where their attention goes. It goes to God. It doesn't even, they have contempt for this. They have a passive contempt for this downtrodden man. And they look to God and they blame God. They say, why would God allow for this to happen? Why such a cruel God who would allow a world to exist where a man can get all of his things taken from him? Why would this be the nature of reality? And in my view, the reason why people do this and have this perspective is because they don't want to understand the story. They could understand the story, but they don't want to understand the story. Because if they fully empathize with Job and fully put themselves in Job's shoes, that would mean that that if they were in the exact same position and they lost all of their things, they lost all of their possessions, death and terrible tragedy all around them, then if Job would relent in his love, if Job would turn his back against God, then in a way they would be justified in turning their back against God as well. They want that to be the truth. They don't want the truth to be that no matter what we go through, we're meant to love God with all of our heart. And it's like, why? Why is that the nature of reality? That's where something is missed, because it's the Sermon on the Mount when Jesus is saying, isn't life more than what you eat and what you drink? Isn't life more than the possessions that you have? What is life? If life isn't all of the circumstances and all of the good things that happen to us and the possessions that we have, then what is it? To live is Christ. To live is Christ. And I bring that up because I've been reading the story of or not the story, somewhat of a story, 1 Corinthians lately. And 1 Corinthians is written by Paul, and in a sense, Paul's story is like a sequel to Job's story, but handled in a different way, without the lamentation. Somehow, which is what we'll get at as well, but somehow Paul's joy remains. Despite everything Paul is going through, Paul is serving God. Paul is going around the world preaching good news, encouraging people, telling them about God. And for doing the right thing, they throw him in prison. He gets shipwrecked. The nature itself thrashes him. And eventually they just take his life. And yet throughout everything, he's writing this letter to the church in Corinth, 1 Corinthians. And you read it and it's almost like a farewell letter, because he's talking to them, and he loves all of these churches that he's writing to, but the church in Corinth has a special place in his heart because of their love and their own unity within that church. And so this whole letter is about love and maintaining your love no matter what, and doing everything with joy, and no matter what this world does to you, do not let it take your love. If you have faith and you have so much faith that you can move mountains. If you don't have love, then you have nothing. And it's like a farewell letter, because he even tells them, he's like, I loved being around you guys. I don't even have much correction to give you. You guys are doing so much well. I'm so happy to see all of your growth. I hope to visit you again. I'm going to go to Macedonia soon. When I'm on my way to Macedonia, I'm going to stop by. Hopefully I can stay with you guys all winter. It was so great seeing you guys last time. And so this is Paul's state of mind while he is facing treachery. Treachery everywhere, at every corner. And I read the story of Job. I read Paul's letters. And I just see this transition of being in a state of losing everything, and this question, which is like, despite everything, can I keep my love? Can we keep our love? Not only can I keep my love, can I keep my joy? Can I be joyful through it all? And I don't even mean joyful in terms of, well, God told me to be joyful and I'm meant to have love in this world, and so I'm going to put a smile on my face and be obedient to God. No, can I have actual joy despite everything bubbling out of my heart? Can I be all in all of the time, despite all of it, despite everything? And Paul does that so well. And before the book of Corinthians, one of the books that he writes is Romans, to the church, the Roman church. And that's when he has this quote, "To live is Christ." And that's always been one of my favorite verses. To live is Christ, to die is gain. But I've often gotten so caught up on that, on the entirety of it. To live is Christ, to die is gain. But now I'm just wondering, what is to live is Christ? Because I can see it now, I can feel it now, I can sense it now. But what is this thing that I'm experiencing? To live is Christ. Well, we're all meant to walk a certain path in this world. We all have a purpose. There is the way. Your path is going to look different than my path, but they are both the way. We have a life's calling that we're meant to follow. And the thing that has made me retreat from my path is the hatred of the world, the derision. But I've just realized the extent to which I can run, and not only can I run, I can hide. And in the past, I have ran and I have hidden, but I've realized the extent to which no matter how much I run and as long as I hide, even when I come out of hiding, even when I step back into life itself and try to start living again, that hatred is going to pick back up. It's like it's intertwined with the fabric. So sometimes people can't help it. It's like they have a laser eyes, heat-seeking missile. And the most downtrodden people whose love won't cease, the crowds, they just can't help but flock to that individual and try to quell it. I don't know what it is, but nothing has ever changed. Look at Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ had only forgiveness, only love. Jesus Christ is God incarnate. Jesus Christ is walking the way. Jesus Christ is going so far in his love that despite everything they're telling him, despite constantly persecuting him, he keeps teaching until the point where they finally just take his life. They put him on a cross. And while he's on the cross, he says, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." And so I don't know why this is intertwined with the fabric of reality, but I see that this derision and hatred is intertwined with the fabric of reality, and it just has to be accepted. I've had to accept it. I have to go forth despite it. I have to have love despite it. I have to keep joy bubbling out of my heart despite all of it, because there is no other way. And I think in real time, I wonder, how have I come to accept it? And to be honest, I actually can't even convey it. I can't tell you how I've come to accept it, other than the fact of no other options and seeing it and deciding to go all in. It's that which has allowed me to accept it is a mystery of faith. It's a mystery of faith. It's something that has to be embodied, experienced. It's ineffable. Words can't really describe it. It's like a gift readily available. You just have to accept it as well. And then in the past, it has made me retreat. It has made me withdraw and retract. Because I've thought maybe the hatred of the world was painful. And in a sense, it is painful. But I thought it was strong and powerful, and to an extent so unrelenting, so overwhelming that I couldn't bear it. But now I see through its hollowness. The hatred of this world is weak. The hatred of this world is empty. It's a cross that we have to carry, and it's always going to be part of life. But I think one of the ways it's overcame is through what I'm describing with Paul's journey. I look at Job and I look at Paul, and Job is a isolated man. Job, there's not a ton of other characters except for the characters within Job's life, and that he loses, the characters who die, and then his friends even tell him that he should probably turn his back against God. And so Job is fairly alone. But Paul has got something. He's received grace and mercy, and then he gives that to other people, and in the sharing it with them, it's like he's on a mission. And it's not the mission which is giving him peace, but rather the nature of the mission, which is the love of others, the encouragement of others. You read 1 Corinthians and you can tell that's the thing that drives him. He loves these people who he is encouraging. He wants to see them win. He wants to see them successful. He's like, for the weak I became weak, in hopes that some may be saved. If you guys don't eat meat, then I don't eat meat. If you guys eat meat, then I eat meat. I don't care about anything except for sharing with you the thing that I have, because the thing that I have is everlasting, and I want you to have it as well. And again, some of these things are, in a sense, ineffable. It's only accurate to say love. That's what he's doing. It's like, why is he doing all of it? Love. He's doing all of it for love. And the love that is driving him is with his attention on other people, his attention on God, the love of God with all of his heart, mind, body, and soul, the love of these other people literally like himself. It's like it circles back and nourishes him as well. And that is the secret. But it's not even a secret because it's the thing that is right in front of our face. And so that's the other good news. I'm saying that the world will hate you, but let it be known there's also, I know for a fact there's other people just like me. There's this world is full of children of God. They're everywhere. And sometimes people get deceived. We go back and forth and we suffer and we take it out on other people. But even in lamentation, our love is unceasing. And that's the only thing that needs to be held on to. Love. The love of God. The love of people as yourself. Right. To live is Christ. And for now, that's all that I have. Goodbye.